Sophie Cunningham went viral, racking up over 500,000 views in 24 hours on Sunday Conversation with Caleb Presley. But here's the part nobody's talking about. If the WNBA disappears tomorrow, so does Sophie's career. So do Angel Reese's brand deals. So do Aya Wilson's magazine covers. And 98% of players just voted yes on a strike that could destroy the league's golden goose. Think about it. Sophie, one of the most beloved players in the league, shows up on one of the biggest sports media platforms. Comments explode. Views skyrocket. Sponsors are watching. This is the dream, right? But here's the problem. A huge problem most players either don't see or refuse to admit. Without the WNBA, that podcast never calls Sophie. Without the WNBA, Caleb Presley doesn't care who she is. She's not Caitlin Clark's teammate anymore. She's just another player in some startup league nobody knows. That's the uncomfortable truth nobody's talking about.
Do they think that if there was no WNBA, that if it was just Project B, that if it was just Unrivaled, and those were the two main basketball leagues, do they think that these podcasts, these platforms would be reaching out to them for all of these sit-downs, these interviews, if there was no WNBA?
The WNBA isn't just a paycheck. It's the platform. It's legitimacy, exposure, and opportunity. It's why Good Morning America knows your name. It's why Victoria's Secret slides into Angel Reese's DMs. Take away the WNBA, and suddenly you're playing for Project B or Unrivaled. Leagues with no cultural weight, no national TV, and no mainstream attention. Think about A'ja Wilson. She just won Time Magazine's Athlete of the Year. Incredible. But if she was playing in some Saudi-backed alternative league without the WNBA stamp, would Time even consider her? Probably not. The WNBA gives accolades credibility. It separates really good basketball player from professional superstar. Paige Buchers is entering the league as one of the most hyped prospects ever. Jennifer Hudson's show is probably already lining her up. But if there's no WNBA, heading to a startup league means no ESPN coverage, no national attention, no big bookings. She just becomes another talented player casual fans scroll past. Angel Reese built an empire thanks to the WNBA. Reebok deals, Shaq collabs, Victoria's Secret partnerships, a thriving podcast, monetized social media. Strip away the league, and she's just a player without a stage. In today's attention economy, no stage equals no audience, no deals, no money. Here's the kicker. 98% of WNBA players voted to authorize a strike. That's nearly every player betting their careers, brands, and future on a move that could backfire. They're demanding 33% of revenue, playing hardball with owners. But has anyone calculated the real cost? It's more than lost salary. It's lost podcast spots, magazine covers, sponsorships, and appearances. Exposure is currency, and it disappears the second you step off the WNBA stage. Sophie Cunningham herself said it best on Caleb Presley's podcast. You need the leagues because that's what gives you the platform to have all these fans. Without the WNBA, fans don't magically appear, and opportunities don't just materialize because you're good. And yet, the league voted almost unanimously to walk away. Why? Because someone convinced them they're irreplaceable, forgetting the brutal reality. In sports and entertainment, everyone is replaceable. Look at the numbers. Obies is paying Sophie Cunningham for commercials. But if she's in a league nobody watches, do they call? Brands don't pay for talent. They pay for reach and visibility. Without ESPN coverage, without media exposure, these players lose their platform and become incredibly talented athletes the world doesn't know exist. Now let's talk Caitlin Clark. She changed everything. Millions of eyeballs, casual fans caring about women's basketball, a rising tide that lifts all boats. Suddenly, Sophie hits 500,000 views. Angel Reese signs major deals. A'ja Wilson becomes a household name. This is the Caitlin Clark effect, and it shows what mainstream attention can do for an entire league. The lesson is clear. WNBA is power, visibility, and leverage. Without it, talent alone isn't
I think
enough.
you do need the leagues because that's what gives you the platform to have all these fans.
Only fans can be a platform in themselves.
Maybe Plan B should support that platform.
Mm-hmm. That's a good one too.
Here's the thing about rising tides. When the tide goes out, you see who's been swimming naked. If the WNBA disappears, or a prolonged lockout kills momentum, all the casual fans Caitlin Clark brought in are gone. They're not following players to Unrivaled or Project B streams. They're back to not watching women's basketball, and all that progress evaporates overnight. The irony is brutal. The WNBA is finally booming. Viewership is up, attendance is up, merchandise is flying off shelves, sponsorships are rolling in, and yet, in the players' quest for a bigger slice of the pie, they could burn the whole pie down. It's like setting your house on fire because you want a bigger bedroom. Let's talk alternative leagues. Project B, Unrivaled. Sure, they pay well and try to innovate, but they don't have the cultural weight of the WNBA. No history, no ESPN partnership, no mainstream coverage. They're niche leagues for hardcore fans, not mass-market entertainment. WNBA players who think migrating there preserves their profiles are living in a fantasy. Athletes need the biggest stage possible. That's why NBA stars rarely leave for overseas leagues, and NFL players don't jump to the XFL unless they have no choice. Prestige, visibility, platform, it all matters. Sophie Cunningham going viral right now. That's directly because of the WNBA. Phoenix Mercury, Caitlin Clark's teammate on the Fever, that's the narrative. Remove the league, and she's just another shooter in a startup nobody watches. The viral moment never happens. Opportunities vanish. Career trajectories change overnight. And it's not just players, coaches, trainers, media, arena staff. The whole ecosystem depends on the WNBA. A strike doesn't just hurt players. It hurts everyone who built their livelihood around women's basketball. It's a nuclear option with unpredictable fallout. The Players Association is playing a high-stakes game. They're betting. Owners will blink first. Public pressure will force a deal. Walking away is a credible threat. But what if they're wrong? What if owners decide it's not worth it? They shut it down, invest elsewhere, and suddenly, hundreds of players have no league. Fans have nothing to watch. Years of progress are erased. Caitlin Clark's impact wasted. Unlike the NBA, WNBA players don't have guaranteed global fame or massive endorsement deals. Their alternatives are less lucrative, and their margin for error is razor thin. Yet, 98% voted to authorize a strike as if they hold all the cards. Maybe the players have a perfect plan. Maybe the owners will cave. But it looks like a slow-motion car crash, and everyone can see the danger, except the people behind the wheel.
Ladies, you've given up all the leverage that you have, and if there's no WNBA, all of these opportunities are going bye-bye. If there's no WNBA, all of these invites, all of these events, all of these guest appearances, they're going to slowly yet surely start drying up.
Sophie Cunningham's podcast appearance
by Indiana, and it results in a little
what success in the WNBA looks like. Mainstream attention, viral clips, 500,000 views, social media buzz, brand deals, and opportunities multiplying, all because she's part of the WNBA ecosystem. Take that away, and you're back to square one. Unknown, fighting for scraps of attention, wondering why nobody cares about your sport. That's the reality players need to confront before it's too late. The question isn't whether WNBA players deserve more money. They probably do. The question is destroying the league to get it worth the risk? Once the WNBA is gone, it's not coming back. Momentum lost, casual fans gone. No amount of talent matters if nobody's watching. Here's the challenge. Do these players really understand what's at stake? Would the WNBA survive a prolonged lockout? Would Sophie Cunningham get that podcast invite if she were playing in Project B next year? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Let's have an honest conversation. The future of women's professional basketball may depend on players waking up to reality before it's too late. The clock is ticking. Negotiations are ongoing. And whether they realize it or not, they're gambling with everything they've built. Let's hope they don't lose it all trying to win a little more.